A warm good evening to everyone and a heartfelt welcome to today's discussion organized by Talking Films Online, also known as TFO. My name is Neha KP and I am your host for today's session. TFO began its journey with Professor Nikhila and Dr. Geeta Vishwanath in June 2020 during the lockdown. Over the years, TFO has metamorphosed from a spontaneous idea into an expanding community of cinephiles encompassing scholars, researchers, students, professors, filmmakers, and anyone passionate about cinema. We are delighted to have sustained this forum thanks to you, our dedicated participants, who gather every Saturday at 9 p.m. as per Indian Standard Time on Zoom to talk about cinema. It has been TFO's practice to invite individuals to select and lead discussions on chosen films, which participants are free to watch at their own time and place. TFO has the pleasure of hosting eminent filmmakers, professors, scholars, cinematographers, and editors like Aparna Sen, Amol Palekar, Girish Kasaravadi, and Adut Gopalakrishnan. Our journey has also included film festivals such as South Asian, East European, Iranian women cinema, among others. Every June, TFO hosts a smartphone short filmmaking contest for students and organizes a lecture series in university departments to commemorate its anniversary. In September 2024, we organized our first offline event, an international seminar on Indian cinema in the digital era, in collaboration with Last year, we also organized a second international conference in hybrid mode titled Screen to Street, Decoding Cinema in Everyday Life in collaboration with Banwarilal Balotia College, Asansol, West Bengal. Now, for tonight's discussion, we will focus on the Kannada film Hariva Nadige Maiyella Kaalu, translated to A Running River is All Legs, directed by Babu Eshwar Prasad. We are honored to have him with us today. Babu Eshwar Prasad is an artist and filmmaker based between Bangalore and New Delhi, an alumni of the Faculty of Fine Arts, MSU Vadodara. Prasad's practice spans various mediums like painting, sculpture, sound, photography, and film. His experiments in films started with short videos and artist films in 1997, Notes from My Diary. In 2015, Prasad made his first feature film, Gali Bija, Wind Seed, followed by another film, Hariva Nadige Maiyella Kaalu, in 2021. His recent short film, Dear Challam, was screened at several venues and festivals, including the Serendipity Arts Festival 2023 and Experimenta, Bangalore, Bangkok Experimental Film Festival 2025. We are deeply grateful to Babu Eshwar Prasad for generously making his film available exclusively to TFO for the purpose of this discussion. We are also grateful to Faniraj sir for suggesting the film to TFO and to M.S Murali Krishna accepting our request to initiate a discussion on this film, and he will be leading today's session. It is my great pleasure to introduce him. M.S Murali Krishna is a writer and activist based in Bangalore. His writings have appeared in several newspapers and magazines, and he has also authored several books and booklets. He is an active participant in the Film Society movement and has served as an executive committee member of Suchitra Film Society, a renowned organization of Bangalore. Presently, he is writing a series of articles on propaganda cinema in Kannada for Hosatu, a monthly magazine. We welcome you, sir. I would now like to hand over the floor to M.S Murali Krishna. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all the participants here. I think I'm audible, no? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Hariva.
Please, could everyone mute yourselves? There is Steve, could you mute? Okay, thank you. Yeah, please go on, Murali Krishna.
Okay. Hariva Nadige Maiyella Kaalu. So it is a sophomore film written and directed by Babu Eshwar Prasad. This film runs for 1 hour and 32 minutes. As informed already, his first feature film is Gali Bija. Now, the title of the film, Hariva Nadige Maiyella Kaalu. The title of the film is based on a line from a poem of Allama Prabhu, who is a 12th century spiritual seeker and a Vachana poet. In fact, he was a contemporary of Basavanna, a Lingayat social reformer. Basavanna and his followers were called Sharanas. They fought against social discrimination based on caste system. In fact, Vachana movement was a sort of a protest literature. Now, the English translation of the title is A Running River is All Lakes. I would now like to read the full poem in Kannada, which reads thus. Hariva Nadige Maiyella Kaalu, Uriva Kichige Maiyella Nalage, ಬೀಸುವ ಗಾಳಿಗೆ ಮೈಯೆಲ್ಲ ಕೈ ಗುಹೇಶ್ವರ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಶರಣಂಗೆ ಸರ್ವಾಂಗವೆಲ್ಲ ಲಿಂಗ. Now these lines can be translated into English as follows. A running river is all legs. A raging fire is all tongues. A blowing wind is all arms. O Guheshwara, for your devotee, thy entire body is a linga. And I should say that the title of the film is striking and it catches the attention of viewers. Now I will directly dwell into the semiotics of the film, as many of you have already seen the film. Now, about the semiotics of the film. Feet, legs imagery. Various feet are shown with different footwear. Viewers also watch bare feet occasionally. And I should say that diversity is the hallmark here. Now, bodies. How bodies are represented in this film. Bodies depicted here highlights the ordinariness of the routine life. Through them, one can guess the economic background of them. Now, coming to the landscape, I should say that the landscape is the mainstay of the film in a way. There are dry hills depicted in this film. The scenes showing barren slopes, rocky textures, and sparse vegetation of Baba Budangiri and KGF hills denote in a way emptiness or depletion of the characters in the film. Now, long paths on hills, walking on roads inside the prison. That is the walks inside the prison by the character. They, in a way, indicate uncertainty and existential searching. In fact, searching is another major element of this film. Now, coming to the movements. The movement include feet, walking, vehicles. In a way, all these signify survival, adaptation, continuity, persistence, and hope too. Now, about silence and minimal dialogues in the film. The film relies on the images, frames to tell the story. That is, in other words, it resorts to visual storytelling with minimal dialogues. Silence, according to me, is a character in this film. It compels viewers to interpret meaning actively. Further, it makes them to pause and contemplate. There are two scenes in this film that portray the rather dystopian times in which we are dwelling in, where an air of anxiety is prevailing, or shall I say, hanging in our polity. I will go to the first scene now. Viewers watch Neelu walking on a road. Next, they watch a young man with a shoulder bag. He stops for a while. A policeman confronts him and searches his bag. He finds a book, flips through its pages, and whisks him away. This scene is followed by a frame where viewers watch Amaresh, the elderly prisoner whom we see in the film. The elderly prisoner behind the bars of the prison. I think it's really a brilliant way of visually conveying the chilly atmosphere prevailing in the current times. Now I will jump to the second scene. Uh, a crowd assembled on a road is seen. Kumar, the photojournalist, the young man, is seen there amidst them. Neelu also walks in. In fact, viewers watch three persons taking a photo with the help of their mobiles. Kumar glances at a person taking a photo. He lowers his camera bag from his shoulders, obviously to take the photo of a dead person lying on the road. Now, what these two scenes convey? We have heard reports and seen how people, instead of rushing to the aid of injured persons or looking at the dead persons on road with empathy, indulge in taking mobile photos, creating reels, etc. These scenes lay bare the apathy of onlookers in such circumstances. In most of the cases, they are bystanders. In societal matters too, they remain as such. Now about the photos related to some films and the photos of horses by Edward Muybridge. In a conversation with his editor in the incipient stage of the film, Kumar, the photojournalist, shows two recreated photos of the film, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, done by him. In another scene, later in the film, viewers watch Kumar flipping through the pages of a small booklet having a series of photos of a horse taken by Edward Muybridge. In fact, Edward Muybridge was an English photographer who in 1878 made his first successful serial photographs of fast motion. The photos were of a horse running and another one trotting along. He was very renowned for his sequential photography of moving animals and humans. He also created one of the world's first moving image projector, zoopraxiscope. I think in a way, uh, the director is paying tributes to these filmmakers who were instrumental in the finding of cinema medium and also its progress thereon. Now about the characters in the film. As we all know, or as we have seen in the film, there are three main characters in the film, namely Kumar, Amaresh, and Neelu. Incidentally, they never meet each other. It is interesting to note that the names of Kumar and Amaresh crop up at the incipient stage of the introduction in the film. But viewers hear the name of Neelu, as per my observation, at the end of our characterization. Is the director conveying a sort of marginalization of women that takes place in our society? This question cropped up in my mind. All the three main characters are in a way forlorn, uh, alienated in a sense, and are in search of something in their lives. They seem to be prisoners of their own inner world, but they are in a way different too. There is an interesting character of a fakir, which according to me gives a spiritual dimension to the film. Now, about the cinematography. The cinematographer Ramchandra has handled the camera work dexterously. The film has long takes, wide angle shots, still frames, and also handheld photography. The play of light and shadows needs a special mention here. The shots of interiors and exteriors are done depending on the situation and the mood of the characters. I felt that the interior cinematography has a claustrophobic effect.
One second. The cinematographer B.R. Vishwanath.
Oh, I
Sorry.
stand correct. I stand correct. I stand correct. He is B.R. Vishnath. I know him incidentally. Thank you. Thank you for the correction. Now, I will speak something about the juxtaposition of shots in the film. Uh, First case is that of Amaresh. Amaresh is seen drawing on the wall of his cell. In the next establishing shot, viewers see Kumar in front of a wall where some photos are displayed. Now, in the second case, Kumar is seeing the horses in the small booklet already referred by me, having the name of Edward Mulbridge. In the next establishing shot, viewers watch Amaresh drawing lines on the prison wall. These two juxtapositions, maybe there are some more also, but I'm restricting my observation to these two juxtapositions. These two juxtapositions speak of creativity outside and inside. Inside means the captivity. But I feel that both of these characters are captives in a way, in a sense. Now, about memories. There are memories in the film involving the three characters. Now I'll speak about the third case of juxtaposition of shots. Kumar sees a photo of his school days that has his classmates and teachers. The next shot has girls indulging in games inside a classroom. Viewers also watch two boys carrying a skeleton. According to me, the carrying of skeleton signifies in a way hidden secrets, embracing facts, or a dark past. Also, it may mean that the skeleton acts as a bridge between the outer world of physical walking and the inner hidden world, which makes us human underneath our various social identities. Now, about the soundscape of the film. The soundscape of the film is done by the director, that's Babu himself. It has the sounds of trickling water from a tap, shutting of a door, a procession. Is it a funeral? I think, according to me, it's a funeral. Wailing of a dog, because it's followed by the wailing of a dog. We hear the wailing of a dog. Horn of a train, a buzzing fly, a moving train, flowing water, etc. etc. I think these sounds add value to the film. Now I should say something about the acting. Except for Kumar, the role of the character of Kumar, done by B.V. Shringa, all others are non-actors. In fact, Sugata Srinivas Raju, a journalist in real life, and Dr. Chandan, Professor Chandan Gowda, who is an academic, they appear in cameo roles. So the film has predominantly non-actors. Bibi Shringa is known for his acting, and here also he has done his role with consummate ease. Others have also chipped in. Now about the accolades of this accolades which this film has got. This film has won the third best film award in the 2020 Karnataka State Film Awards competition. Now about the title of the film again, I am reminded of another famous quote by Basavana, which is an oft repeated quote in literary circles and elsewhere too. It's like this: Stavara Kalivuntu Jangamakila, which translated into English means there is death for something stationary, but for movement. But those things which are in motion includes ideologies, there is no death. In conclusion, I will submit that Hariva Nadige Maiyella Kaalu is a contemplative, immersive, meditative, non-linear film with no three-act structure. Kudos to the director Babu Eshwar Prasad and his team for giving a very thought-provoking film. I am highly grateful to TFO for giving me an opportunity to speak about this film. In fact, I am largely indebted to TFO for I am getting many insights about this medium of cinema through their various discussions that are being held every Saturday through Zoom meetings. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful talk. And now the dice is open for everyone, and I would request everyone to come up with your comments and questions if you have any.
May I, Sneha?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Murali Krishna, for initiating this discussion and also agreeing to do it at very short notice. Yeah, and thank you, Babu Eshwar Prasad, for making this film available to us. What struck me about the film is the way you connect character and space. Like if you look at Kumar and then the space that he occupies and he negotiates, it's very different from the space that Neelu occupies or Amresha occupies. Now, Kumar is constantly seen in the backdrop of open spaces, hills, and he's constantly on the move. So there is a kind of restlessness in this character. And Neelu, interestingly, in a film that is about walking, she's a sales girl in a shoe shop. Shoes, something so integral, a part of the gear of walking. So, and she is seen in crowded places and also seen less isolated than Kumar. She's seen constantly in being a sales girl. She's in the midst of people and interacting with people. And Amresha, of course, is a prisoner, and his walking is, like the pacing of a caged lion in a zoo. And it is, and for him, then walking becomes something of, more of an imaginative exercise. He can only walk in imaginary spaces. And I liked the way you ended the film with Amresha, walking in a circle, and this young photojournalist Kumar, who is, walking along meandering path. It's kind of suggesting that he is walking towards something, whereas Amresha can only go in circles, returning to where he actually started from. So this Amresha's character kind of, adds a philosophical dimension to the film, which was, I thought, very interesting. And yeah, and having said that, of course, this kind of, slow cinema aesthetics necessitates long takes and slow pace. Except that sometimes I thought that the pace was, really slow, excessively slow, making it somewhat tedious in parts. But I really would like to know, what are those monuments that you shot parts of the film at. There, those ruins, they were just beautiful. Like a lot of the locations that you shot in were absolutely stunning visually. So if you could say something about how you went about looking for these locations and where are these places, I would be happy to learn about them. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Murali Krishna, for a very long introduction for this film. And thank you for asking this because it's important. Because I decided three main characters. The one is the more, as you said, as you noticed, the prisoner has a limited space. So his work is more imaginative. And the girl is constantly seeing in the city how people are walking and what are they wearing. And because she may be working in the shoes because of that. And that is more a visual kind of observation about the work. And the photographer, his work is more physical thing. But all these three characters, I feel that they are stuck in one particular space. He may be walking around all the landscapes, but he is also mentally in a similar position. But they all want to get rid of this kind of thing, and they are searching for something to be free. So this is to juxtapose, or maybe I thought that using these three different aspects through the three different characters, showing the different kinds of work. So the prisoner is imagining the work, and he is drawing on he's kind of mapping his works on the wall. So that similar kind of landscape you see where the photographer is working. So, but this three character, they may not meet each other, but there are some kind of very similar kind of routine thing happening in their life. So there are two sequences. They just they're on the particular frame, but they don't know each other or they don't interact. So the characters are there, and even in the prison, the jail, the newspaper, when the police was reading the newspaper, so that photograph, the image of the dead man on the street, so it appears on the newspaper. So some kind of visual thing as an image it transfer on, it's going through some other media. So the prisoners see it. So he may be inside, but somehow he got a chance to see that particular incident. So I try to connect with because of I'm a visual. I'm coming from the visual art background, so I try to connect through more like a visual and image kind of thing. So that is one reason. And also, I wanted to. I feel that whoever watching my film, they are really they are. Uh, I've seen many screen a few places, and I met many different kind of people. So sometimes I feel that uh, they also have a capacity. Even I've seen a lot of who watches a very regular kind of film. When I was very surprised how they react to this kind of images. So we should then I never underestimate any audience because somehow they will try to read this kind of connection in their own way. Sometimes it surprised me. Oh, this is also possible. So, and the other thing, what you were asking about the location. So I used very consciously this most of this landscapes are architecture. So it is a one is the jail is also colonial, which was in the Bangalore, in the middle of the city. So it is built by British time, and the cemetery, what you see, it is it's in Srirangapatna. During the Tipu's war, so whoever died, there's a British and Swiss armies were buried there. So it is actually the slightly hidden location. So it is not very easily accessible to the tourist. So, but again, that architect, that cemetery is very different than. And then I try to connect the fakir says that I'll meet you at this thing, but Kabaristan. So that, but the character where he is waiting there, a dream kind of a sequence. So that is completely a different architecture, not that what we expect the Kabaristan. So this kind of and also this uh, landscape is very dry and otherwise these landscapes are very green. And there is one church, it is submerged long back, almost 40 years now. So in the summer it comes because of the water drive, and then so this church is also very like a very Turkish kind of landscape, the architecture. So I like the Tarkovsky's the way you uses the location. So I thought it's a kind of some reference to that film related images. So it's a very one of the very beautiful area. So only in the summertime one can go and visit that place. So there are a lot of this kind of connection. Uh, to try to bring it in different layers. So one is photography, cinema related. Other one is the architecture and the landscape thing. Because my work is also in my art practice. More than 3 decades now, I've been my main image is it's a landscape. So through landscape, how I can show it in a different way. So even my earlier film is also was more about the landscape and the journey. So it was a road movie. So I tried to uh, show as much as a different kind of landscape from the city, Bangalore city, to the like in the highway of the Mumbai. So so this kind of thing is my it's not suddenly came because I've been visiting these places for many years and I'm very familiar with this space. So sometime I may not able to use this particular landscape in a film. So And most of this, when I was shooting for the first film, this landscape, I was trying to use it, but it was completely different. So I could not use this. So, but still, I always, sometimes the landscape says something that it fits into my particular way of thinking or showing to the particular theme. So these are the landscape was like it completely uh, it's I don't know how to say it, but yeah, for this film, this particular landscape was giving me more meaning to use this particular thing. So that's why the photographer, I purposely, the character, I made it like so that he can travel out for all these places. And it's a very dystopian landscape, not very pretty calendar like. So even the KGF, that it's called Cyanide Mountain. So there is nothing gross because when they were mining, so all the whatever they were digging, it's a completely man-made mountain, and it has got a cyanide, so that for the gold they were using to process cyanide. So the mountain is completely man-made, and it's called Cyanide Mountain.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And just as an aside, some weeks ago we had discussed Basav's film called One Foot in Front of the Other, which was about running. And today we are discussing a film which is largely about walking. So some connections there with TFO's previous films. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And also this film is it's a kind of a landscape cinema.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Are there any more questions or comments? Please feel free to.
Sneha, can I come in?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Babu Eshwar Prasad, for joining the discussion today and for making available your film to TFO. And thanks, Murali Krishna, for initiating the discussion, giving us a sense of your reading of the film. A couple of things that I noticed, which seemed to be like a pattern. I don't know if it was conscious or intentional or not, but this is something that I observed. One is, I mean, in terms of telling the story, or even in terms of composition of the shots, surely something that is happening which is very crucial to the life of these characters, to the makeup of these characters, and motivation of why they behave the way they do, is off the frame. So we don't know the reasons as to why they behave the way they do. What is this existential angst of Kumar, or why this girl is stuck, and why is she alone? So if we go to probe these characters, I think the film just refuses to answer any questions. So this forces us to read the characters not in terms of motives, not in terms of cause and effect. Okay, so this is why they are behaving this way, but simply to see and accept these characters of what they are or what they are doing. So we just reading the characters off the screen without really being able to make much sense of their motivations, or who they are. Even the basic question of who they are. Of course, I mean, we know where they work. We know, what is, what their, like Kumar's predilection at the moment. He feels that it's not creative enough, but that is what they say. So what is behind what they say, or none of these the film bothers to answer us. This is also, in a way, composed visually in the film. For instance, when we have a character looking out of the frame, usually our expectation is the next shot will show us what the character is looking at. Most of the time, our expectation is defeated. So we don't know what the character is seeing, where the character is pausing, what is it. In fact, even in that scene with the dead body, the camera takes forever really to take us, to see what everyone is seeing. So it's more concerned with showing us the responses of various people rather than what is provoking that response. This, I think, is somewhat the pattern in this film, even in terms of the way it breaks our narrative expectations, in the sense it won't tell us easily, or there is really nothing which satisfies our curiosity about who these characters are, or why they are going about their life in the way they do. Which is also, and the other thing is, Babu, you were just talking about space. I mean, we come to expect from the films we watch, we come to look for time and space markers and transitions. So some sense of, okay, so all this happened in one day, or all this happened over 5 months. I don't think there are any markers of time. So I mean, I'm just going by what are the things that you do to break narrative, and break our expectations of narrative cinema. So you don't mark time, and what even the space. How does Kumar find himself in these? Yes, the landscapes are very alluring, but how do we see him in a beach once, on a riverfront once, and somewhere else? I mean, because we don't see him as going on any journey, so we don't really know. Or even the cell that Amaresh occupies. How come there is no one else? So, as you said, the landscape is not a realist landscape. It seems to me more to be a mindscape than a landscape. So that's what so suddenly he is in this, Amaresh is in this completely open space, while he earlier seemed to be in solitary confinement behind bars. So landscapes are they reflective of states of mind? Are we supposed to not bother about the place? Where is Kumar now in? Why is he there? What is it that motivates him? Rather, use the landscape as the way Murali Krishna was talking about it, the semiotics of the landscape, to read about the character. So it's a new way. I mean, with one viewing, I don't think I made much sense of the characters. But through this discussion, I think I'm getting a sense of what you want us to do, Babu, or what the film wants us to do, which is to read the characters, not with the familiar cues, but through, maybe the landscape, maybe, as you said, for instance, I had not noticed that Neelu is constantly, only looking at what people wear. But it makes sense that she's working in a shoe shop, and therefore she's noticing. So, or her coming down the stairs in a certain way. If 2-3 times we see her, greeting a little boy, or there's an exchange of smile. So the last time she comes down the stairs, we expect the boy to be there, but he's not there. So it looks like the film is actually playing with our expectations more than fulfilling our need to know. Yeah, so this is my own sense. Let me stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, because you actually what you observed is perfectly correct, because it was a very conscious effort when we are expecting something. So then why should it happen? Because so then it's become a very regular spoon feeding kind of a film. So, and more than that, I want to make there is a very smooth rhythm, even though it's a very slow film. The editor has done a very good job, because what you see, that kind of matching kind of even when I thought, see, it's a three characters, day-to-day things, which is very routine, and the girl is coming from the beginning. You see, she is uh, coming in a many floor, but next time again I will show that thing. So what you observed is that boy, she has some kind of a reaction. So every day she see him, but one day he is not there. So, and same thing, I'm keep showing the same thing again and again in a loop, but it is not happening as you expect. So there is it's like a minimalist music has this quality. So the film also has the slow cinemas or minimalistic films has a lot of taken from that music kind of a thinking. See, the beat will come like this, and slowly when it comes to the beginning, then there is little bit they'll add, and but when you are hearing that minimalist music, it's like in one particular flat rhythm. But there are many variation. If you see Philip Glass, if you listen to Philip Glass or many minimalist musician, so their experiment is with the very same kind of beat, but there are slowly improvising things, improvising and adding and deleting, adding, deleting something. Something will come, something will go, but the rhythm will be there. So in a similar way, even my thought, I'm also very much interested in sound and making. I won't call it music. So I made it. I made a lot of the soundscape kind of music, which is like a very minimalistic approach. So in a similar way, when I was writing the script, so first I thought, what if one still image moves? What it can be? How it can move? So in a similar way, when I was writing the script, so I started writing this, particularly when the prisoner is inside the small space, how long he will go on showing the same cell, but each time you have to place a camera in a different angle, and the space is very much limited, and each time you have to show in a different way. So otherwise it will get bored. But we are showing the same thing. I'm showing the same thing, but in a different action. So what this prisoner can do 365 days in a small cell, or the girl is in a small space, and I am not showing where are they come from, what is their backstory, but one can read it from that particular point. So he maybe something I don't know what he has done, what kind of crime he has done. But the girl, there is a reference when she have come and cut off from the family, maybe, and she is living on her own. and she is finding that space in this big crowded city. That's why she is more in the crowd. Whereas the photographer, he travels because of his work. He is traveling. So in the beginning, the girl says, "Go and take a picture from that location," and he asks the girl that the journal, "Have you visited?" She says, "No, already done some." So she is not ready to go, but this photographer has to go there. So so that much is enough. Then wherever he goes, he is maybe going for his work, and it is not that he is doing something. So finally, so everybody wants to get rid of this that routine thing. So, but we are all in the same similar situation in a different way, in different levels. So these are the thing what I was thinking. But writing the thinking about this kind of uh, images through the you have to maintain particular rhythm. You have to think about. I'm glad that it was not giving any clue what you expected. So I'm really happy that so I hope I answered your thing.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. If there are further questions, please feel free to questions or comments.
Can I speak? This is Parinita.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I think I would agree with Nikhila because, the film kind of raised a certain kind of expectation of meaning in us, but ultimately it refused to provide any meaning. So the kind of narrative that usually films have, either in language or in terms of the sequence of images, which is, plot-like, was missing in this. And for me, it kind of denoted the kind of the routine repetitiveness of existence itself, where we try to make our contingent meanings in terms of our particular locations at a particular time in our lives. So the shop where you sell shoes, that makes maybe meaning for that protagonist and also for us. But then certain aspects of our life, of her life, go beyond that, and it doesn't make meaning. And there are certain things in the movie, like for example, the prisoner also can read palms, and he says that you're soon going to lose your job, but that is never answered. That, and then it is said that his name was given for good behavior, but somebody, but he was not released later because of some reason. These reasons are never given to us. So, in one sense, for me, it reminded me of the theater of the absurd, the philosophy of the absurd. Sisyphus eternally rolling the stone up the mountain, and then it comes back. And we are always trying to make meaning of our existence, but existence refuses any kind of, absolute meaning or, innate meaning in itself. But we have to live our lives giving it contingent meanings. And that is why it was so tedious, because, life, existence itself is so tediously monotonous and repetitive. And we are always trying to find some kind of goal in it or meaning in it, or a kind of trying to fix it within particular narratives. And that, I think, the movie, that experience of repetitiveness and tediousness, I think the movie very wonderfully gave us as a process of experiencing the movie or watching the movie itself.
Thank you, ma'am. That was fun. If there are any further questions or comments.
Thank you for that this thing, because yeah, I've been trying this. So the meaning, whenever we see some film or any kind of, we always try to read it in our own experience with the, and sometimes when I watch it again and again, the same film get a different kind of meaning accordingly. Sometimes they miss some layers. So that's why even when I watched some film 10 years ago and when I'm watching now, so I mean, it also depends on the time and thing. So thank you for the comment.
Thank you, sir.
Can I?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I I I I propose this film for discussion here precisely because this is less discussed among Kannada viewers. The film which would have been discussed much more, and I think except in some film festival circuits, it was never released to the public. And at various places, small crowds, steady crowds, Babu has to show that cinema. So I could see this in one of the film festivals held in Bangalore, and later uh, at second viewing in some other location, and third viewing with PFO. Uh, one thing what Babu as a visual artist brings is that is wonderful thing, that there are many still images here. He says that he had picked it up at various locations, but even if he montages them itself with a title, they themselves autonomously can and use certain meaning. But when montaged in this film, again Swami, who plays that prisoner's role, is the editor of this film, has beautifully montaged those still shots such a way that it adds a philosophical layers to the theme what Babu is supposed to communicate to the audience. Um, the very title, which comes from Mallama's Vachana, is having many interpretations in Kannada. Many scholars have interpreted in many ways. But one of the interpretations is Allama's idea of what is philosophy. That is, he describes out of Panchabhutas, he describes three bhutas, which are a rhythmic nature, dynamics of rhythm of nature. And then he says that uh, a human being living in a society has to gain that rhythm of nature so that his philosophy excels the alienation from the society, or alienation from the being in society will be alienated from the nature. So if you want to be philosophically gaining one rhythm of nature, then Sarvangavella Linga. That means you should regain the rhythm of nature to be not alienated from nature being in society. But Babu uses it that twist. I read it as uh, in an urban scape. The whole film is shot in urban scape. In urban scape, he shows the alienation in a capitalist society. I read it as a capitalist society in an urban scape. Alienation of three characters. I even didn't care to go to the specificities of the names, because in one of the very beginning scenes, one guy follows him. That can have a multiple meanings, given the later scene where a guy is arrested by a police or taken away by the police. It can have a many meaning in the time when the cinema was released, in the situation of Karnataka, about youths being suspected of that thing. One guy follows him and asks him, "Are you Vinod?" or something like that. Asks him that. He says no. Then immediately says, "Strange, isn't it? People will change." He says, "Maybe." That means it doesn't matter whether it is Vinod or Kumar or someone. The point is, this guy is put up in an urban scape, and he's alienated uh, in that urban scape. He wants to be something else, but being a photojournalist, he's put in some routine. His editor demands him the visuals, what sells, or what puts into the routine media imaging, covering the stories, etc. But this guy wants to excel that. He wants to show that he is having a creativity in visuals, and he wants to find a meaning to his life through his creative visuals. So many a times he go back to old photos to reconnect and realienate himself with life. Many a times he goes to various locations, which is natural landscapes, to connect itself, and takes a photograph and connect himself to the life like a natural scape. But every time he was reminded of his routine. Wherever he goes, the call comes and reminds him that he is in that daily capitalistic routine and alienated self. One particular scene where one particular shot where he goes, where a woman is working on working on coconut uh, leaves. He sees a mound of earth which is shaped as some architecture. Then he likes it and asks her, "But can I take that photograph?" He says, "Take it." Once he takes that photograph, he demolishes that. He asks, "Why you demolish it?" Then she says that once you have taken a photograph, the kimmat bandbitade. That means it has got a monetary value. So I don't like it to have a monetary value. I'm done. He says, I have asked you, but still that woman says it doesn't yield. And then he looks at his photograph. His hand moves to whether to delete it or keep it as itself. So it puts a doubt in his mind whether the photograph he is taking itself has become a commodity. So the photograph, what he shows about the expressionist painting, like photographs, what he shows, that is what he wants to attain. The routine photographs, what he takes, themselves are the media itself, the capitalist media itself is so overarching that it can become a commodity. So there are many references to that. So he wants to come out of that in many ways, and he couldn't. That's why finally he wants it as an escape. He leaves the job. That's sufficient indication that when he is in that landscape, the call from the editor comes and he says that I'll finish that and then I'll come back and give you a letter. I'm quitting, and I don't know what I'm doing. And finally, he walks towards a landscape, and that shot cuts to a sky, saying that he wants to immerse himself out of this and find a natural rhythm to his life, and hence getting out of the alienation of the everyday capitalist society. That's one reading what I make. And other two characters too are bound in, they have lost their natural rhythm of their body and they are alienated in an urban scape. If one have read Henry Lefebvre's critique of everyday life, could immediately connect to this alienation of the characters. The prisoner is not only alienated from self. The reason for alienation may be that he is in prison, but the very crime what he has committed is a societal crime, which is because of being in a capitalist society and a bureaucratic nature of treating the crime and punishment. So he is in double alienation. He is alienation from the self and he is alienation from the free movement what he can gain outside the prison space. So that is shown in many ways. Even when he is outside, when they are traveling in a jeep, he is not free because he is under the grills. When he is in the cell, he is in the prison. But when he is moving out in the open air, he is in a police jeep. Or when he is in a garden, it is a prison garden. So though in an open scape, in everyday life, in a bureaucratic capitalist society, bureaucratic setup, it's a prison. It's a country is an open prison where you are bound by bureaucratic capitalist routines. So that is also shown in various shots in the moments. One particular beautiful shot or meaningful shot shows the moment itself is a body rhythm. The moment itself is a body rhythm, which gives independence or a sense of self to us, that I am moving on my own, that I am in the control of my body. But in one shot, you see only legs and the movement. There are two similar activities going on. Movement of the legs is there. One is a drill. One is a drill of a NCC cadets or some police cadets or whoever. And other is guys who are playing some football or cricket or something. So one is a free rhythm. Another is a very controlled routine drill rhythm. So what this girl, saleswoman in a shop is looking at, see herself is alienated from the usual community, what we call as a family. She is double alienated that most probably, as the film gives a hint, when she looked towards the photograph, she has lost both her father and mother. She's having only a grandmother that comes in an encounter with his relative. that his grandmother is alone there in the village, but she is out of the village and want to find a life in society, but caught in the urban alienation of the alienation of the self in the urban, and she wants to get out of that alienation of being a saleswoman in a footwear shop by looking at how what is the meaning of the footwear that is immediately commodity of capitalist production and the legs it wears, whether it gives them a freedom of the movement or it shackles them. In most of the scenes where she comes and observes, she's observing the legs and the footwears they wear. There are varieties. There are very costly footwears. There are very common footwears. There are torn footwears. There are worn out footwears, but they are still footwears is shackling their movement. So their movement is the capitalistic uh, uh, all controlling capitalistic mode of production, which gives sense of commodity fetish and hence alienates self from the other. So the only way she wants to give meaning to herself is what is the relation between the movement and the commodity which binds her. And the prisoner, of course, prisoner wants to liberate himself or want to get the natural rhythm through his expression, through charcoal art, what he does in his prison, this thing. And that ends in the shot. He starts with the bottom of his the place where he sleeps, and then he ends it at the roof, because that expressionist fading again, German expressionist cinema art. It reminds us of that. That reaches the roof. Once he reaches the roof, then he cannot go beyond. So he wants to get in rhythm with himself by abandoning or to find some meaning out of alienation by expressing himself creatively in that art. But there is a prison roof. That is the boundary for him to express his creativity. That ends there, and then you see that he is sleeping on the cemetery and then walking in circles. So the last time you see that girl, I mean that woman, in the film is that guy who is dead on the open street, and his legs and his slippers coming out of his legs. So finally, you are bonding with how capitalist society alienates you through the slippers, a commodity of capitalist production and a commodity fetish. In order to liberate yourself from the shackles, either you should be walking with that shackle or you should be dead. So that is very indicative of that. So you liberate yourself from that capitalist alienation only when you die. So those are the few things which comes again and again. And again, as Swami has edited it very beautifully, it finds a rhythm in Swami's editing, which is very appreciable. And you make a sense of the alienation of the self and the all-pervasive capitalist production system and societal routine and bureaucratic routine of everyday life, which shackles you and alienates you from yourself and the sense of society. So that editing brings that rhythm, and the still shots of all of the landscapes, what he says, Babu said, brings a meaning to that, because either they want to reconnect to their lives back again. Photojournalist, I don't want to give them name, because they can be anybody. It can be Kumar or Amrish or Neela, whoever. The name is not important. The way they are caught up in an urban space, though they seems to be free, they are not free and shackled and alienated from the self by the capitalist system routine of production, as well as bureaucratic system of bureaucratic regimes of capitalism. So having read Henri Lefebvre, I feel that it's one film which beautifully brings out, or philosophically brings out, Lefebvre's theory of urbanscape, capitalistic urbanscape, and how it alienates self from another. These are the few observations which I got for viewing this film 3 times, and after reading Henri Lefebvre. I think it's my reading, maybe right or wrong, or it's immaterial, because even if Babu disagrees with it, I don't mind, because the what gives you these ideas, and it connects to Lefebvre's idea of how capitalistic urban space is taken away from you, alienated from you, how you are supposed to recapture it for yourself. These are the few observations which I got by viewing this film. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much for the beautiful reading, because there is so much things are there and it looks like there is nothing happening, but there is so much things are happening, and for each and every detail I worked out in a very visual way and not saying much, and everything has to show it through the action. So, but if we read it carefully, there is so many things are happening right now in my surrounding, what I'm seeing every day in the street. So, so yeah, so there is a lot of actually, I mean, I'm glad that he gave a very each and every small, taken the details and shared his reading. So just I actually wanted to give that, I want to show these things. And the reading has to come from the I expect the reading from the other. And actually, I could have explained each and every image why I have written. But the thing is, that doesn't serve the purpose. So, actually, I wanted to show it more than uh, articulating much through the character. So these characters are they're doing their job, but there is so much things are happening. So between the cell, so many small incidents are happening. Even for the Neelu also, there is different kind of day to day what she is facing, what she is looking at, what is she. I mean, there's one small girl suddenly in the market she found and try to help her, but otherwise she is very quiet and working all the time and watching others. So, and the photographer is actually I will tell you one small thing how I developed the particular scenes. See, Jafar Panay was house arrested, and then he says that if you are not doing anything, even if you are in an open field, you are in a bigger jail. So this small quote or some incident, what I see every day, so it I completely digest thing and then I show it in a different way. So this prisoner, before working, developing this character, I never seen inside what happened in the jail. So I've seen through films, that too, popular films. So then I visited uh, few jail in Delhi and even in Mysore, and then the Bangalore. It was shot in a proper central jail, which is now it's a Freedom Park. So then my editor who acted in that prisoner character, so he said even he wanted to see the before acting. So I've taken him again. I went to the Mysore Central Jail and taken a permission, went inside, and whatever the things were happening there. So there was some play was there rehearsing. So so in the beginning, this Chandan Gowda who acted in this, he says he is asking the permission for their inmates. They're ready for the play. So they want them to travel outside and show their creative kind of expression. So these are all I've been noticing very carefully and developing in a way that everything has to as there is sometimes juxtaposing things, sometimes it goes smoothly mixed with other. So these are there are a lot of exercise I did before writing or even while writing, and even when I'm shooting in the particular location, there are a lot of things that location says. Sometimes light says, sometimes the object says something. So we have to be very careful and spontaneously develop that. We should never miss any that kind of opportunity, because uh, this inspiration comes from so many different ways. So these are the, few things I wanted to share, how I was developing and how what is the process of my. So now I'm writing a third one. I'm doing it from very long time. Still, I have not finished the thing. When I finished it, now I'm trying to finish fine tuning it, and now this year I'm going to shoot the third one.
Babu, from the second viewing, I saw that all things falling in place, because in the first viewing I didn't catch that hotel scene where again they're in a hotel, confined hotel space. He's looking at legs, right? So
Yeah.
that's a very different. I mean, that's a very contrasting observation that she's looking at non-moving legs. Okay. Again, all of them with variety of footwears, but you see that gives you a sense of what you call as a bad faith, what Sartre calls as a bad faith. It seems that capitalist society gives you variety and a freedom to choose your footwear, but it isn't, right? So it shackles you. See, all of the people who are sitting there are are having some or other, trying to have some human relations with other, but they can't. You see across the table, one young man and young lady is sitting. They seems to be say partners. So there is some hesitation there. So looking at the footwear and the movement still, and other guys, the three guys are sitting across. So she's not much interested in the kind of a family gossip what he's telling. He is looking at, she is already alienated from that, but she is looking at the kinds of alienation which is taking place. The what continuously falls in place is her observation, whether we ourselves are shackled in ourselves, we are alienating ourselves from ourselves, or there is some other thing which is alienating us from some other thing. But that footwear gives you a sense of, connects you to the capitalist production and production system, and indicates that it could be understood as a commodity fetish. Of all these things fall in a place. So the editing done very meaningful editing. When I third time I could see the rhythm of Swami's editing, that it gives a continuity, a sense of continuity, of alienation, of overlapping of one alienation over the other alienation. So that makes a sense. That makes a lot of sense. And as we discussed, it's my Udupi Chitra Samaj is my Paniraj speaking here. Uh,
Yeah, because there is one challenge when the editor is acting in the film. So, and then one particular scene in the nursery is I was shooting, and the camera was this side, and then I told my cameraman, "We'll shift to that opposite direction." Then the editor says that will be wrong because audience are sitting in the front and we are showing the image from here. Suddenly, this audience can't go behind the screen. So it's a reverse shot. So I said, why not? We'll try. And because and then we went to the other side and shot. And then finally, there is no jerk or any that kind of because visually it was looking very similar. So only the camera placed it other side. So sometimes we have to break the rules because we should not follow. And also when we are editing, I was sitting next to the editor, and he is acted in the film, so cutting his own shots. It's a very this thing. Sometimes we have to be very uh, we should ready to throw whatever, even if we like something, if it is not working in the film. So it may be a beautiful shot, it may be beautifully acted. So if it is not going in a particular the timeline, so we have to remove it. So it is there are many things which are like I never worked with any filmmaker, but these are all while working I learned so many things. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the comment, and it was very interesting. Are there any more further questions or comments? Please do feel free.
Shall I come in?
Yes, sir.
Sneha?
Yes,
I
sir.
have a question to ask, Babu.
Yeah.
The thing is, as I told, that was an interesting character. The Fakir character is very interesting.
Which one?
The Fakir.
Fakir. Huh?
Fakir. So Vishwanath, not Vishwanath, what is his name?
Ridwan.
The photojournalist, Kumar.
Ah,
The
Kumar.
Kumar shoots a question at him, that are you a Sufi? Then that man, the Fakir, admonishes him. Okay, admonishes him. Now, this character, according to me, is not an insertion. It goes with the flow of the an element of the film. That's the search, the element of search in the film. And this character goes with that flow. That's fine. But my question is whether you are having in your mind about the ruptures, about the beatings, about the punctures that have taken place to the composite culture of our land in recent times. Whether you were having it at mind by building that character. Ours is a composite culture. Okay, you know that, you know it. Well, it has been taking several beatings in recent past. Whether you had that thing in your mind?
Yeah, very much. Yeah. So I was little how to handle this. It shouldn't be it shouldn't get into one particular track. But I have to I have to use the Fakir character, and it's like but between them, whatever happens. So it's through the Shunga, the photographer, he is just following and just they're not talking anything much, but they're like completely listening the bird, seeing the landscape, and then there is some activity is there. Then when the fakir is moving from the first this, so they are eating something, and the best thing is that that how to show the smell in the film. So he gives and rubs something which we can't see, but he puts in his pocket the uh, bag, and then he rubs, and he won't say anything, and even the photographer also say anything, but he smells it, and suddenly the most problem showing in the smell thing is in the film is very difficult. Then if we use anything like wow, what a smell, it is gone. That's nothing. See, without saying anything, I try to from the beginning to the end, without saying lot of unnecessary thing, and try to show it. So, and then recently when I was seeing the resurrection, that smell part is one chapter is there, that big and film. So he has used it in a very brilliantly, like a magic, playing cards and smelling and telling the which card is this, and then they burn he, he cover the eye and burn the card and shows, smell it and say, but they are actually playing the trick. But the smell is, I mean, I have not seen much films about showing the smell. So that is. And another thing is, why there is one is Alamma Vachana, the first line. The other one is that brilliant film about pickpocket. So how beautifully the hand was shown the entire film. It is like a real magic, and it's like a choreographed in a way, like a beautiful ballet kind of the hands movement. So after seeing that, many times that Brasas film, I won't be able to do it like that kind of a thing. But somehow I thought like why I should use the leg walking and try to do something differently. So this is the inspiration something from pickpocket. So
I think this has added not only a cultural dimension to this film, this character, Fakir character. It also adds that philosophical dimension and also a political dimension. That's very important because it speaks of the
Yeah.
times in which we are dwelling in, according to me. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, sir. I would just like to quickly add in that we just had a very interesting discussion on landscapes, and just drawing from those discussion, I was very quickly reminded of Wiley's John Wiley's distinction in landscape, the distinction he makes between the material landscape and the mental landscape, and how these landscapes sort of work. So I think in this film, I was very fascinated to see how the mental landscape was sort of made visible to us, the viewer, and I was also interested in a sort of understanding the tension that is between the observer and the observed within this landscape. I was just quickly reminded of this, and I wanted to add it in. And it's also very interesting how the meanings of each narrative sort of bleed into each other. So it is not only the prisoner who is sort of trapped, but the woman also. It is not only the man who is searching for the meaning, but the others also. So I how these various ideas and various sort of thoughts sort of comes becomes visible in this mental landscape that is shown in the movie. So I just wanted to add that in. So thank you, sir, for the wonderful discussion and the movie. If there are any more further questions, please do uh, feel free to questions or comments. Uh,
Thank you.
Tanmay has added a comment. Shall I read it, Tanmay? He has
Yeah,
said,
please.
okay, he has added, if we look at the theater of the absurd, then this movement is one of the most important reactions among all post-World War reactions about the meaningless of human existence. This film was first came out in 2021, which is very close to the COVID pandemic, and the filmmaker has also used the trope of walking, which reminds me of the mass migration of migrant workers during the pandemic. The loss of lives and the meaninglessness of human condition of pandemic is no less than that what we have seen in World War II. So Tanmay has added, was the filmmaker in any way influenced by all these parallels? And of course, we cannot forget the V effect of were from this effect of Brecht. Sorry, I cannot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, the film was shot in just before the COVID. I started around 2018. So most of the shoot was between 2018 to 19. And then suddenly uh, this COVID and then lockdown, everything, and the migration, people have started working. So, but uh, these are the one who, what you see, there are many people are walking in the street in the city, and I'm not sure the upper part of the body, but the legs are moving. There are so many different kinds of people are walking. So these are the one who went back to their hometown and during the COVID, during the lockdown time. So the movie just completed the post production. The sound part was we were doing during the lockdown. Somehow managed to finish the film. So, but the shooting part was just before that. And also the absurd thing is, yeah, I completely agree.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Uh, if there are more questions or comments,
Yeah, can I come in saying that?
yes, Ananya.
Okay, thank you so much. Am I properly audible to everybody?
Yes, Ananya.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much to the person who discussed Murali Krishna sir and Prasad, the director, Prasad sir. Thank you so much for joining. And this is a moment of immense pleasure for me to be an attendee, to be present in sessions organized by TFO, and a big word of thanks to both Geeta Ma'am and Nikhila Ma'am for organizing these sessions and bringing in the people I cannot ever imagine meeting in any way otherwise so easily and through these weekly arrangements. So thank you so much to both of you for taking out the time and being with us here. The movie again is a South Indian movie, and I'm constantly growing. I'm delving deeper into this oeuvre of this repertoire of South Indian cinema for the very first time, and I must admit, ever since I joined TFO, I have got this exposure to South Indian languages as Tulu, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu. So that's that, and I do find I have myself grown up watching and spending more time with North Indian cinema. And much less even with Assamese cinema, which is the cinema of my home state. So I'm kind of I have kind of had my own, as Nikhila Ma'am said, the mindscape. So that has been quite North Indian shaped. So to see South Indian cinema from these perspectives, the cinema of South India that I grew up watching, they mostly focused on some type of unimaginable action, the type of extreme action that I could not really call real. So I often resisted myself from believing that type of heroic presence. But TFO has introduced me to the type of movies which South India explores, and topics which movies like yours bring up. So I admit that I haven't had the chance to watch this movie, but I've been listening to the people, and from what I gather, something that I am interested in finding out about your movie more, which also happens to be a subject of my interest as of now, and that is both colonization and the system of castes in India. So I haven't really tried connecting the practice of castes and colonization next to each other, especially when we talk about Dalit literature. We've had excerpts of prose and poetry as well by Dalit authors at school, but speaking of personalities as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, whose birthday recently was recently celebrated only in the past month. So there are books coming out. There are people writing in this subject of the literature. And there are movies as new as Dhadak 2, I guess, which has brought up the system of caste from Dhadak, the general one as well. So my question will be to both of you, the director and Murali sir, how you two read colonization and this concept of hegemony when you see the supremacy of one type of caste on the face of other castes in India, and if you have anything to address on the basis of how you might have experienced this process, the system and practice in South India versus the North India. So that's my question on this colonization versus the system of castes in South India and North India.
Yeah, can you just repeat the question again?
Yes, happily. So my question majorly is on your concept and what you think about colonization versus the system of castes in North India and South India. How you read these two subjects in juxtaposition of each other.
See, in this particular, yeah, we are all aware about the caste system in India and the class also. So even in this particular film, even there is a few scene where the girl goes to stitch her own, even though she is working in a shoe shop. For tearing her the sandal, she goes to the cobbler to stitch it, and then I purposely didn't wanted to have any that cliche kind of a thing. So, but I wanted to show the effect of the thing, but I directly don't wanted to show the Ambedkar image in the shoe, the cobbler, because in each and every single thing wherever you go, there is a two image you see in the cobbler. That one is the Ambedkar thing, and the other one is the Lakshmi. In Bangalore, they keep it. So, but same time we have to deal with the not just showing the cliche thing, but we have to show it in a very particular and the entire. If you see, that girl could have been worked in a jewelry shop. Why this girl is working in a shoe shop? So she could have managed to get any other. So I'm very particularly placed her to work in a shoe shop and see the. If you notice in the beginning, there are so many people are working from the beginning to end. There are so many things are happening. Just I'm showing the moving legs like a river. The city itself is like a river. It's not constantly it's moving from one place to other. So as an artist, as a thing that I believe more in action, and even I have a lot of connection with in Karnataka activist Dalit Sangarsha Samiti, and one of my very close senior artist friend who was in Asan, K.T. Shiv Prasad. He has been associated with the movement, and but these things in my work, whether it's a class or caste, I'm not showing directly, but I'm dealing with all this in a different layers. So if you see the film carefully, you can understand the thing. And the other thing is that the in there are some upper caste has born in from the head. If you see that particular this thing, and the one who the Shudras were born from the pada. So that's why the another reason showing the legs are also related to dealing with that particular thing. So yeah, we are very much aware about this thing. I'm very much aware about, yeah.
One short intervention, Sneha, can I make?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes.
I think, Babu, after this question of Ananya, no,
Yeah.
I had made an observation about the scene which where you were referring to about Neelu approaching a cobbler to get her sandals stitched or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, in that scene, there is a shot where the child there, no, the couple has a child there. The
Yeah.
child tries to handle something, some what do you call instruments that will be used for stitching, no? Stitching
Yeah.
and the mother tries to admonish her, or rather, the mother tries to prevent the child from handling these things. I think whether there is the question of entrapment of the caste system or the entrenchment of caste system. Whether there is an opposition to that, whether the reaction of mother refers to the discontinuation of entrenchment of caste system. Whether in trying to avoid the child from playing with those tools, she wants to have some sort of a blockade or an end or a termination to the caste system. Or am I reading too much into that? I don't know.
I'm not very sure about what you're not convinced. But yeah, the child was playing with the mobile.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. If there are any more further questions, please feel free. Tarakeshwar, sir, would you like to speak, sir?
I have nothing much to add because there is a lot of discussion and everyone was on this part, especially Paniraj, when he said alienation is the main thing and what causes alienation. He was talking about capitalism. That capitalism is not the answer within the film. Of course, we know the relationship between alienation and capitalism, and there's a lot of discussion about that in the last 60, 70 years. Um, but in this movie, alienation comes out very prominently, and whether the journalist or the prisoner or this girl who works the footwear shop, they're all alone. There's no social relationship for them. And it is routine, quotidian things that happen. And then, though there is a longing for to escape from this monotonous life, but nothing happens. And even in their search, they're alone. So, in that sense, we don't see any possibility of uh, coming together of all these people and then any hope for them. Or even at the end, uh, body is also alone and nobody, though everybody gathers, it's more a group rather than a collective. So in that sense, they're all alienated and there's no conversation among themselves. Why, what happened, what should we do? Nothing. So in that sense, it's also indicates certain kind of hopelessness of the situation. And even if you resign from your current job and go in search of something what you quote unquote think as creative, nothing happens. You're alone. And even in the prison, you're drawing something and engaging creatively uh, by writing something on the wall, or you're engaging in the original creation of uh, plantation and then the nursing things, but nothing happens. So in that sense, uh, there is no hope. There might be a longing to escape from this alienation. So in that sense, it presents a very bleak picture to us. And but interestingly, it doesn't explore why it is happening. Maybe that is not the point of the narrative. It is left to the audience to explore and see why this alienation and how to overcome it. So, in that sense, the alienation comes out very well, both in terms of the location, characterization, conversation, and the quotidian repetitions that is there in the movie. Thank you for the movie and also Murali Krishna for the discussion. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And one more, the previous for the previous thing, there was a particular school scene where the Murali Krishna was very detailedly describing the skeleton was carrying. So in the same, the people were the kids were playing with the flag. So there is two flag is a particularly blue flag. So that is also symbolizes some color. So to just to I forgot to add that particular for the previous thing. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. If there are any more further questions or comments, please feel free to add them.
Hello. Good
Yes.
evening, sir. Thanks for your wonderful film. I would like to make a comment on your film. That is, if I compare to your film as the part of its topic in alienation, as everyone is talking about already. So even if it is the part of the slow cinema and all the things that we have seen in the repertoire of the slow cinema, there are always a background score, but your film has a subtle tone of non-background film, non-background score. It is very minimally the background score is used purposefully, I think. So could you please elaborate a bit what is the approach of using the background score especially and non-diegetic sound, because that was very, very minimal, whereas the other the slow filmmakers always use quite a lot of extensive uses of the Western classical music or other kind of electronic music, but your cinema has a different kind of approach it done. So could you please talk a bit about it? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this question because I had a lot of sounds recorded, and then I used silence very carefully to show the violence or the boredom of the. So if I use too much of sound, that may kill that particular mood also. So and the Tarkovsky says that there is one when you are using the most of the film they use background score in a very loud way and to carry the uh, when you are when you are watching with a very silent thing, sometimes you feel very frustrated. If there is some background score, so you feel very comfortably could spend more time. So when there is silence is there is some kind of violence also it shows in this particular film, and then really it become more slow the film, and I use very minimal sound. Actually, I could have used the more sounds and all, but in that particular area, mm, the cell or even in the shoe shop. See, the showroom is completely in a glass covered cage. So there is a traffic noise outside. When you enter any shop, suddenly all your noise will be cut. See, when the girl, if you see, notice in the beginning, the girl is inside and she gets a call. She opens the door and goes. Suddenly there is a noise, and the camera comes the outside. When the girls go inside and she is talking to the cashier or manager, and something discussion is happening. I purposely didn't wanted to show that dialogue, but then the camera was outside. I showed the traffic noise. So this kind of plainness with the image, very important for me. So the silence, and suddenly when the girl was coming down from the staircase, suddenly the car, some toy car makes too much noise. So this is a kind of a element how one can use sound in a better way. So I thought in this particular film, I don't need much sound. But there are some music here there, which I only created. When you're watching that old church, so suddenly that loud music comes and suddenly it slow down. So it also to juxtapose the silence and the noise. So there is one other sound part of it.
Yeah, it really surprises me while this was of course my first watch, and it's very distinctly like separating this film like in terms of the other slow cinema, or even the, as you mentioned, from the film of Robert Bresso's. You also already mentioned a Pickpocket or Avzar Balthazar. So I mean those particular mentioning. So it was quite distinct in that approach as well. But yes, Bresso of course doesn't use all like lots of music. So your music, as you put like very carefully explained to us as well, like it's a this silence is a kind of a protest, or the it's a protest on the violent aggression on this loudness of this world right now. So carefully you have picked this and orchestrated throughout the film, and then juxtaposing between these two things, silence and the noises. But yeah, so overall it has given an impression of the being kind of a silent and ways of dealing with it, how to do in this loud world. So yeah, it was really wonderful to delightful to watch, I could say. And it was a different kind of film in terms of the Indian film history, and even in our recent times. So it was really wonderful to watch. Thank you so much for the film, and it
Thank
was
you.
really
And this Jacques Tati used it in Playhouse. He used it very
playtime.
nicely with huh?
Playtime.
Yeah,
Sorry, I mean it's playtime.
Playtime. Yeah, sorry, Playtime. So that the modern architecture with the glass and the sound,
Mm.
you see the image, but you don't hear the sound. See, this is another beautiful element what Tati known for his sounds. So, so it's also referring so many filmmaker whom I like in a very in my own way, not like directly taking something and showing the thing.
Uh, you might not believe, actually, while I was watching the film, I was also feeling this kind of similar feeling that you are referring to so many filmmakers. I was actually feeling it. I could was relating to this the film history. Like I was really thinking about, you mentioned Bresso, but I was really thinking about this is part of the Bresso's way of thinking. Somewhere I was thinking this is the ways of minimalistic cinema. So there's some kind of reference. We were also dealing, trying to understand and through this reference point to reference point, and it was really delightful to watch.
And there is another layer. If you see from the cabinet of Dr. Caligari image to the there is a lot of reference to Namjoon Paik and other artists. So Namjoon Paik is one of the father of video art. So he has made a lot of video work in a very different way. And there is one particular thing is Buddha watching TV. So there is a TV monitor and Buddha is watching, and the camera is placed near the TV, so capturing
Mhm.
the Buddha, and in the monitor, Buddha's image is coming. So Buddha is watching TV. This is one of his famous work, which I try to do it in a very different way. The photographer brings the old briefcase and open it, and then he go through his all old photographs which are all the different formats, like how we see it in the film, different ratio, like 4:3, and now the CinemaScope and 16 by 9, all that kind of ratios are there, no? So similar way, there are many photographs there are some photographs like 120 format, which is show only square in print, and the other 35 mm photographs are different. So he was going through
And also the
all the negative and slide viewer is there. And then when you close everything, and then there is he brings back one TV and keep the Buddha, and suddenly he recreated in Namjoon Paik's work in a very different way, not directly like Namjoon Paik. So there are a lot of reference about my own art practice thing also there, which is other layer. See, if somebody knows about the art history thing, they could relate to. There are many small things. So in a similar, and the sound part, there is one particular scene. This photographer is sitting alone and doing something. Suddenly, one procession comes. You slowly the procession start, and then the cracker sound. There are a lot of sound, and the crackers. Because of the vibration, suddenly one car gets that siren sound, and then the dog started barking because of the car sound. And then this, like, how this one to one the relation in the sound. So this was written in the script. So there was no sound, nothing. So I told my actor to see, now this procession is coming. See, when without showing the procession, I'm showing the sound. And then after everything become again silent, and then he hears the water drop in the bathroom. See, this sound is one of the very important in the cinema. Only 50% what we deal with the visuals, another 50% has sound. See, sometime offline we can show through the sound. We are not showing the visually, but there is a sound outside. So that's some ways which is not there in the painting. If you see Edward Munch painting, one is why he is crying or screaming. There must be something happened in front of him or out of the frame, left side or right side. The painter can only show the particular image close up or maybe in the wide. But in cinema, there is other possibility. So without showing few things, you can say something through sound. Yeah.
Also some visible evidences too in the film, like man versus the horse, running horse. You have given the direct reference to it from that page, like the book and the
Like a flip book,
photographer.
yeah. I made that flip book, and yeah, I used it.
And also, not only that, also some of the photos was on his wall, like on the table, like visible reference to film history, like the from Buñuel and others, also the man with the movie camera. So there are so many references, direct reference to the film history was already visibly present in the film as well.
Yeah, there is one particular image, that man with the movie camera, and that Magritte eye is there, and then there is
Yes,
one
yes.
more image that the pelican is flying. So you see in one frame there is a movement of few birds. I mean the same bird is moving. There is another very famous scientist who invented a lot of things for the medical thing. So Dr. Murray, he is actually made a camera using gun. Instead of the bullets, he placed the film and shot it in a gun. So that's why what we say shooting, that must be come from that particular thing. So he was also very contemporary to Muybridge. So both were trying something simultaneously. So he is also very important. He has also done a lot of capture the moment, the way Muybridge was doing. So all this thing influenced a lot of in art movement, because when Muybridge went to Europe and he met many contemporary artists those days, like Degas and even many of them. So, and then in the painting, the moment started coming. There is one particular painting, Marcel Duchamp, the nude descending the steps. So the it's not one figure in one same frame. There is a lot of movement. So this most of this thing, cinema borrows from many different mediums like literature, music, act, theater, painting, so many things. So in a similar way, different art also influenced by film or photography, the history. So these are when Buñuel was made that Unshin Adalo, the Dolly was written the script. So that Lorca was part of the movement. See, the avant-garde, surrealist, Dada, all that movement was happening not just from the artist thing. They were all poets, were there, different people was there. So in a similar way, so we should, take and give.
Yeah, this film actually, you like rightly mentioned it, all was visibly while I was watching also, like referring to one by one the visual history, art history's point, and the film history as well. So they're coming and dealing with this film, and also this photographer is giving the different kind of the evidences through it, and that's why it is. It's a different kind of ways to look at the film, and it is not a regular story, of course. And we already talked about the narrative, so I'm not going there because we already discussed a lot about the narrative pattern in here. So yeah, that's really delightful, and also very happy to hear from you as well, because unless it couldn't be possible to, of course we are connecting, but your thoughts when you were sharing and you were saying the things, that also reaffirming these things the way we watch and adding some valuable points, how you look at the film history and then how you adapt those insight, you adapt impact of these things. So that's really wonderful. Thank you so much. And we will be waiting for your next film, of course, in some other way, in different kind of structure.
Thank you. Yeah, I will try. I'm trying differently. Yeah.
Yeah, that's we expect like a filmmaker from you, because that's of course watching this film we understand that this is a filmmaker. Back then I didn't know you actually. This is the first time a film from like in your filmography, and so once I finished the film I understood the fact that yeah, the film would be the different kind of film, because this filmmaker must have been different kind of independent thought process and bring something new all the time in the table. So of course we are looking for something new, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any further questions or comments? Okay, I think we are coming to a close. I would like to thank both M.S Murali Krishna sir and Babu Eshwar Prasad sir for such an engaging and wonderful discussion. It was truly very enriching, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Further, I also thank my co-interns and especially Geeta ma'am and Nikhila ma'am for making this space and community so enriching. Until we meet again next Saturday, thank you, everybody. Thank you, sir, and good night.
Thank you. Thank you
Good
so
night.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you all
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
A long night.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.